What's the problem here? You causing trouble for security?
No trouble. I'm simply trying to enter my workplace.
Guard says you're refusing to follow procedure. Now, are you going to comply?
The procedure is discriminatory. The accessible route is this
ramp. I won't
ramp.
tell you again. You need
I
to
am
leave
leaving.
or you'll be detained.
Via this public access ramp. This is a violation
Let's have this.
Yes!
The security guard stepped in front of the wheelchair. "Sir, you can't come through here," he said. "Wheelchairs go around back." The man in the wheelchair looked up calmly. "Around back. I have a meeting on the 12th floor. Service entrance is that way. That's our policy. But this is the main entrance. I'd like to use the ramp right there." The guard laughed. Okay, sure, look, I don't make the rules. Back entrance, now. I'm just asking you to follow accessibility guidelines." The guard leaned in close. "And I'm just asking you to stop making this difficult. Move, now." Marcus Webb had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 47 days, his company would face federal investigators. They would get national news coverage, and they would pay an $11.2 million fine that made headlines across America. The man in the wheelchair was not just another visitor with a complaint. He was Dr. Robert Hayes, the director of ADA enforcement for the United States Department of Justice. The ADA is the law that protects people with disabilities. For 14 years, Dr. Hayes had run over 2,300 federal investigations. He had spoken to Congress 6 times. He wrote the rules that every big company in America had to follow. And the security cameras above that entrance were recording everything. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been treated badly by someone who thought they had power over you? Drop your answer in the comments. Marcus Webb and his company had no idea who they just turned away. Dr. Robert Hayes had worked for the Department of Justice for 14 years. He went to law school at Howard University. He also got a higher degree in disability policy from Georgetown. Before his government job, he was a civil rights lawyer for 8 years. He even wrote a book called Access Denied about fighting for disability rights. But here is what makes this really interesting. The doctor had personally watched over 2,300 investigations. He helped the government collect $847 million from companies that broke the rules. People in the legal world called him the architect because he built the system used to catch rule breakers. Dr. Hayes himself uses a wheelchair. A car accident hurt his spine when he was 24. He had been in a wheelchair for 22 years. On this Tuesday morning in March, the doctor was just trying to go to a regular meeting. He arrived 15 minutes early. He wore a nice jacket and pants. He had no government badge showing. He had no idea he was about to run the most important investigation of his career, and he would do it from the inside. Now here is what happened next. Marcus Webb was not new to complaints, and his company was not new to cutting corners. Webb was 34 years old. He had worked as a security officer at Meridian Corporate Solutions for 6 years. 2 years ago, he got promoted to supervisor. But here is the problem. He never got any training on how to treat people with disabilities, not once. Meridian was a big company. They were on the Fortune 500 list. Their main office was a 47-floor glass tower in downtown Chicago. They had 12,000 workers across the country. But they had a bad history. In the past 3 years alone, they had 7 complaints about not following disability laws. They paid money quietly each time to make the problems go away. Company records would later show 23 complaints against the security team in just 18 months. 14 of those involved visitors with disabilities. Every single one was marked as fixed, with no one getting in trouble. Workers had a nickname for the front entrance. They called it the Gauntlet. People with disabilities learned to avoid it and use the parking garage instead. This is wrong on so many levels. Let me know what you think in the comments. In 2022, a deaf visitor was denied help. In 2023, an old man with a walker was sent to the back elevator. His family almost sued. They settled for $15,000 but had to stay quiet about it. Meridian had spent years making problems disappear, but this time they picked the one person in America who could stop them. It was Tuesday, March 12, 2024. The time was 9:47 in the morning. Meridian's main office sat at 500 North Michigan Avenue in Chicago. The building had 47 floors of glass and steel. The lobby had marble floors and ceilings that reached 30 feet high. Fancy art hung on the walls. There was one wheelchair ramp. It sat to the right of the main stairs, but here is the problem. A big marketing display was blocking half of it. That display had been there for 6 months. 14 people had complained about it. Nobody moved it. About 200 people passed through the lobby every morning between 9:30 and 10:00. Coffee carts served drinks near the elevators. You could hear shoes clicking on the marble floor. Marcus Webb stood at the front checkpoint. A new guard named David Chen worked beside him. David had only been there 3 weeks. Amanda Foster sat at the front desk. At exactly 9:47, Dr. Hayes came through the automatic doors. He wore a navy jacket and gray pants. He carried a briefcase on his lap. He held a visitor form in his hand. He headed toward the wheelchair ramp. Marcus Webb stepped in front of him before he could reach it. If stories like this matter to you, hit that subscribe button right now. What happened next would change everything. Dr. Hayes stayed calm. He explained he had a meeting with the legal department upstairs. Doesn't matter, Webb said. Policy is policy. Wheelchairs use the service entrance. Can I see that policy in writing? The doctor asked. I don't need to show you anything. I'm telling you how it works here. Dr. Hayes pointed at the wheelchair ramp. Can I just use that ramp right there? Webb shook his head. That's not for, look, it's blocked right now. Could you move the display? Webb laughed at him. That's a $50,000 display. I'm not moving it for one person. Dr. Hayes kept his voice steady. The law requires an accessible main entrance. Are you a lawyer now? Just go around back. I'd prefer to enter the same way as other visitors. Webb stepped closer. His voice got louder. And I'd prefer you stop wasting my time. The doctor asked for a supervisor. I am the supervisor, Webb said, and I'm telling you service entrance, final answer. I'd like your name and employee ID, please. Webb's face got hard. My name is Go Around Back. How's that? Dr. Hayes said he was writing down everything that happened. Write whatever you want, Webb snapped. Nobody cares about another wheelchair complaint. I think someone might. Webb leaned down into the doctor's face. Listen, you either leave through that service door or I call Chicago police to drag you out, your choice. People in the lobby started to notice. A young guard named David Chen whispered to Webb, Marcus, maybe we should just, but Webb cut him off. A woman in a business suit stopped walking. She pulled out her phone and started recording. An elderly woman nearby spoke up. This is awful, just let him in. Webb turned to her, Ma'am, mind your business. The whole lobby was watching now. Webb crossed his arms and blocked the ramp. His voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. What Webb did not know was that Dr. Hayes had already counted 6 different laws being broken, and the woman with the phone was about to record the moment that would cost Meridian everything. Type justice in the comments if you think Webb was dead wrong. Webb grabbed his radio. Yeah, I need officers at 500 North Michigan, he said. Got a disabled guy refusing to leave. Dr. Hayes calmly reached into his briefcase. What are you doing? Webb demanded. Keep your hands where I can see them. The doctor pulled out a small leather case. He opened it and held it up. Inside was a federal badge, Department of Justice, ADA Enforcement Division. My name is Dr. Robert Hayes, he said. I'm the Director of ADA Enforcement for the United States Department of Justice. The lobby went silent. What? Webb said. I'm here for a meeting with your legal team, though I think that meeting just got a lot bigger. This is where things got interesting. Webb did not back down right away. He actually tried to fight it. Anyone can make a fake badge, he said. This is some kind of setup. I don't care if you're the president, you still can't. He stopped talking. His face was turning white. The truth was hitting him. People around the lobby started coming forward. A woman named Patricia Morno walked up first. She was a lawyer from a nearby office. I saw everything, she said to Dr. Hayes. He asked 3 times for help. Your guard refused and said rude things. She handed over her business card. I'll speak in court if you need me. A retired man named James Washington came forward next. I come through this lobby every week, he said. They always make people with disabilities go around back. This is not the first time. Then David Chen stepped up. The young guard was shaking. Sir, I knew this was wrong. I should have said something. This is not the first time Marcus has done this. And remember the woman with the phone? Her name was Sophie Brennan. She had recorded 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Her video caught Webb saying, wheelchair complaint. It caught him blocking the ramp. It caught him saying his name was go around back. By now, the building had 6 security cameras aimed at the lobby. Sophie had her phone video. 2 other people were recording too. The visitor log showed Dr. Hayes had a real meeting scheduled. The radio recorded Webb's call to police. Chicago police arrived at 10:14. Officer Denise Williams had been on the force for 12 years. She looked at the federal badge. She looked at Webb. Sir, she said to Webb, do you understand who you just tried to arrest? Webb said nothing. Officer Williams kept the scene secure. She called for building managers to come down. Now Webb started to panic. Look, I was just following the rules, he said. Your rules break 7 federal laws, Dr. Hayes replied. Can we start over? I think we are past that. Webb's hands were shaking now. He turned to David Chen. Did you know who he was? Chen looked right at him. No, but it should not have mattered. Amanda Foster at the front desk finally picked up her phone. Mr. Whitmore, we have a situation. The head of the building rushed over. She saw the badge and went pale. The company's top lawyer showed up in 6 minutes. Dr. Hayes, I am so sorry, she started. Save it for the investigation, he said. Let me know in the comments what you would have done in this situation. By 10:30, Webb had been removed from the lobby. By 10:45, Dr. Hayes sat in a meeting room with the CEO, the top lawyer, and the head of HR. By 11:00, the Department of Justice had opened an official investigation. And by noon, Sophie's video was on Twitter. Webb was starting to understand how badly he messed up, but Meridian was about to learn this was not just about one guard. This was about years of problems they tried to hide. Dr. Hayes called his team at the Department of Justice from the conference room. They sent a lead investigator named Angela Morrison. She was a senior lawyer with years of experience. Her team arrived within 72 days. The investigation was huge. They checked all 47 floors for problems. They talked to 340 employees over 3 weeks. They got all the company's complaint records. They asked for 2 years of security camera footage. Here is what happened when they looked at Webb's story. Webb claimed he was just following company rules, but there was no written rule that said wheelchair users had to use the back door. Webb made it up himself. Webb claimed the ramp was really blocked and he could not help it, but that marketing display had been there for 6 months. 14 people complained about it. Nobody ever moved it. Webb claimed this was the first time this happened, but company files showed 23 similar problems. Webb himself was involved in 11 of them. Webb claimed he never said anything mean, but 4 different phone videos caught everything he said. The investigation found 147 different problems at the main building alone. They found 12 more problems at other offices. They found that Meridian had been paying people off quietly for years to avoid getting in trouble. Here is the part that really got me. The security team had 0 training on disability laws since 2019, 5 years with no training at all. The back entrance they kept sending people to was 247 feet away. It went through a dark alley with no security cameras. That is not okay. If stories about accountability matter to you, hit subscribe so you do not miss the next one. The company made fast decisions. They fired Marcus Webb on March 14th. They fired 3 other security supervisors. They fired the head of the building. The VP of operations quit. The government sent the case to lawyers who handle crimes. Meridian was put under federal watch for 5 years. This meant the government would check on them every few months. Webb tried everything to save himself. At first, he said he was being treated unfairly. Then he blamed the company. Then he offered to speak against Meridian if they would go easy on him. They said no. Dr. Hayes spoke to reporters. This investigation is not about revenge, he said. It is about the hundreds of people who faced this treatment and did not have a federal badge to protect them. Employees at Meridian were relieved. A private survey showed that 67% of workers had seen or experienced this kind of treatment themselves. But the federal investigation was just one part of this, because Sophie's video had been online for 3 days now, and Meridian was facing something no lawyer could control. The whole world was watching. Sophie Brennan posted her video on March 12th at 12:47 in the afternoon. Her message was simple. Just watched security deny a wheelchair user the front door, told him to go around back, in 2024. By 2:00, the video had 15,000 views. By 4:00, it had 180,000 views. By 6:00, it had 1.2 million views and was trending in Chicago. By midnight, 4.7 million people had watched it. The next day, CNN called. So did MSNBC and Fox News. By day 3, 23 million people had seen the video across different websites. The comments came flooding in. One person wrote, "He told the director of the ADA to go around back. I cannot stop laughing and crying." Another said, "My brother uses a wheelchair. This happens to him all the time. Finally, someone with power felt it too." Someone else wrote, "Imagine being so sure of yourself that you do this to the person whose job is to punish this exact thing." The story appeared everywhere. The Chicago Tribune put it on the front page, the New York Times covered it, the Washington Post covered it, NPR covered it. Share this video if you think others need to. See what happened here. Meridian tried to respond. On March 13th, they said they were looking into it. On March 14th, they said Webb was fired. On March 15th, the CEO made a video saying he was personally ashamed. None of it helped. Webb deleted all his social media. His lawyer said Webb thought he was following company rules, but former co-workers came forward with more stories about him. Webb tried to start a page asking people to help pay for his lawyers. It was taken down within hours. 3 weeks after the video went viral, Meridian's stock price dropped 12%. They lost 2 big contracts worth $34 million. And Dr. Hayes was just getting started on the money part. The lawsuits came fast. On April 2nd, the Department of Justice filed against Meridian. They said the company had a pattern of breaking disability laws for years. On April 8th, Dr. Hayes filed his own lawsuit against both Meridian and Marcus Webb personally. He said they broke the law and caused him real harm. On April 15th, a group lawsuit was filed. It was for 127 different people who had been denied help at Meridian between 2019 and 2024. When lawyers started digging through company files, they found terrible things. They found emails where bosses knew about the complaints. They found a memo from 2022 that said paying people off quietly is cheaper than fixing the building. They found that Webb had 11 complaints in his file. Nobody ever punished him once. Want to know how much they paid? Here it comes. The federal case settled in September 2024. Meridian paid $8.7 million in fines. They agreed to let the government watch them for 5 years. They had to file reports every 3 months. They had to let outside experts check their buildings every year. Dr. Hayes settled his personal case for $1.8 million. But here is the twist. He asked them to give $500,000 of that to groups that help people with disabilities. The CEO had to apologize to him in person. The group lawsuit settled for $2.2 million. That money was split among 127 people. Some got $4,000. Some got as much as $89,000, depending on how badly they were treated. Add it all up, the total comes to $11.2 million in settlements, plus $3.1 million in lawyer fees, plus $34 million in lost business, plus whatever the stock drop cost them. The company lost its spot on Best Places to Work lists. 3 board members quit. The CEO retired early in December 2024. All 12,000 employees had to take training on disability laws. The company spent $4.2 million fixing their buildings. As for Marcus Webb, he was fired with no money. He was named personally in the lawsuit. He had to complete 200 hours of training about disabilities. No security company would hire him. He has a civil rights violation on his record forever. His lawyer put out a statement saying Webb accepts responsibility. People online called it weak. Dr. Hayes spoke to reporters after the settlement. "This was never about me," he said. "I had badges and money and lawyers. What about everyone who faces this every day and has none of that?" The court of law had spoken, but Dr. Hayes was not finished because the story did not end with money. It ended with a message. In October 2024, Dr. Hayes gave a big speech in Washington, D.C. It was Disability Rights Month. 400 people came to watch. TV cameras were there too. "I have enforced the ADA for 14 years, he said. "I have read thousands of reports, but reading about this and feeling it in your body are two different things. For 47 seconds, I was not a federal director. I was just a man in a wheelchair being told I did not belong. That feeling stays with you. It stays with every person this happens to." There was hope in his message too. "I was lucky," he said. "I had the power to do something about it. Most people do not. For every case that reaches my desk, 100 more never get reported. People give up. They go around back. They stop going places. That is not okay." He had words for everyone watching. To every worker facing this kind of treatment, write everything down. Your rights are real. Use them. To every security guard and manager, the person in front of you is a human being. Start there. He talked about what he wants to change. Higher fines for companies that break the rules. Every big company should have someone in charge of making things accessible. A public list of companies that break the law. Then he thanked the people who helped him. To Sophie, who recorded. To Patricia, who said she would speak in court. To David Chen, who told the truth about his boss. To the strangers who stopped and said this is wrong. You are humanity showing up. His last words were powerful. "Marcus Webb told me to go around back, but I want to be clear. We are not going around back, not anymore. We are coming through the front door, and we are not asking permission." This case showed something bigger than one company or one guard. The Gove. Arraignment gets over 10,000 disability complaints every year. They only solve about 15%. 1 in 4 adults with disabilities says they were denied help in the past year. This case was different because Dr. Hayes had power. He had a badge. He had cameras catching everything. He had money for lawyers. Most people have none of that. The system only worked this time because the victim happened to be someone they could not ignore. That has to change. So let me ask you, do we really believe accessibility is a right, or do we only care when someone powerful is watching? Do we hold companies responsible for the culture they create, or only the one person who gets caught? Do we want a world where you need a federal badge to be treated like a human being? Because if we do not fund the people who enforce these laws, if we do not stop companies from paying for silence, if we do not make accessibility automatic instead of a fight, then we are just waiting. Waiting for the next Marcus Webb who feels free to say no. Waiting for the next victim who does not have Dr. Hayes' badge. Waiting for the next video to go viral before anyone cares. Comment front door if you believe accessibility should be automatic. Comment your story if this has happened to you, because every story matters. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We are going to keep exposing these patterns. We are going to keep demanding better. We are going to keep fighting for accountability, for change, for a world where the front door is open to everyone. This is not just about one security guard in Chicago. This is not just about one company with a display blocking a wheelchair ramp. This is about all of us, about who we let through the front door and who we tell to go around back. Dr. Robert Hayes is not going around back. Are you? See you in the next one.